Welcome to Apricot Cottage Studio. Today we're making some beautiful Christmas cards. We're going to use the Poinsettia Petals, which is a fantastic set. The stamps are much larger than what it shows on the cover. And there's a fantastic set of dies, quite a few dies. And the cool thing about these dies is they cut out the paper as well as cutting just paper that matches. So we're also going to cut out, using those dies, some of the beautiful flocked paper. It's called Poinsettia, Plush Poinsettia, and it has several sheets, ones with leaves and berries and ones with poinsettias. And I've cut out the poinsettias. They're beautiful and flocked, and I've been experimenting with coloring them. So I'm using my Stampin' Blends, and the colors that I've chosen to go with my cardstock today is light flamingo. And so you have to use a very light touch. And I colored the edges with the lightest color, like this, and just very lightly with my marker. These are alcohol markers, so they soak through. And I've used light flamingo first, and then dark flamingo in the middle. And I find that different colors have different amounts of liquid in them. So this one is a little bit streaky, but I quite like the effect. And then I use the dark light red as my dark. It's a little confusing using my light red as my dark, but that's the darkest shade I want in the center here. So I'm coloring very lightly. And then I'm going over with my lightest color to blend. And I really like pink poinsettias. They're quite feminine. And I thought I'm going to be using this set a lot, so I'll start with some pretty feminine cards. Then I'm using my dark pineapple for the little centers to give it some color like that. And so I have a beautiful colored poinsettia that's very soft to the touch. So I've cut a piece of Morocco rose paper, and I've cut it 3.5 by 5, and I'm going to create my own background paper. So the stamp set has petals that you can cut out to individually make a poinsettia with 3D, but it also has a set where they're all together. So that's the one I'm going to be using today. And I'm going to use Versamark, and I'm going to stamp up my Versamark. And I'm going to create my background, and I'm going to go off the edge and stamp the poinsettias fairly close together, but I'm not worried about leaving a space because I know that I'm going to add some things on top of it. And I think pink and gold is an elegant card, so that's why I chose those colors today. So once I get all my Versamark poinsettias stamped, I'm going to go off the edge and turn this. So here we go. So it's covered with poinsettias, and then I'm going to use the Stampin' Up Gold embossing powder. And I've already pre-done one, so you don't have to listen to the embossing folder. It looks like that. And then I'm going to put a little piece of foam on the back so that I can raise it up. And I've got a little strip of the flocked paper. I didn't waste anything. I'm using every single little piece because you can cut out the large flowers and the small ones and the leaves, and you can even cut parts of the leaves, which works when you're going to layer them in an arrangement. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my card. And I've used a very heavyweight Whisper White card base. Make it nice and sturdy and elegant. Press that down, and then I've got a little wee strip of the flocked paper. Just cut off the edge instead of a ribbon. And I'll put that down about 3/4 of the way. And then I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to pop up my flower. And I noticed that you can sort of see the dimensionals, so because the paper is rather transparent. So I'm trying to lay the dimensionals where the coloring is. And I'm not going to put a huge amount on because I want to be able to layer some things behind it. So I chose the biggest petals. And I'll just use my pick tool to take those backs off. Got long nails, pick tool helps you to quickly take those backs off. There we go. And I'll put the flower here, fill in those spaces. And then I'm going to use some flocked leaves. This one I stamped some of the gold little pine cones that are in the set as well. And I also cut out some of the berries. But for this one, I'm just going to use leaves, keep it a little bit simpler. And this leaf is a full leaf. So I'm going to tuck that just like this. And then I've got a partial leaf, which is fine because I know that I'm going to tuck it underneath the flower. So I can use every little bit of that flower, that beautiful paper. There we go. And then I've used the sentiment, may magic and wonder bloom this holiday, which I think is a lovely sentiment. And I'm going to tuck that right here. Maybe I'll put it right there. A little bit of glue. There. Make sure my sentiment is straight. There we go. So there's the outside of the card. Now I want to do the inside of the card. And this set has a thank you, which I think is a really cool addition for a holiday card. If you go to a party or something like that, hopefully we'll be able to go to some parties this year. So I'm going to use some lovely lipstick ink. And I've got my mini cubes just so they don't take as much room on my desk. And I'm going to stamp the thank you. It says, thank you for making this a wonderful season. And then I'm going to use the poinsettia. And this is just the part poinsettia, the middle. I think this is the smallest one. I'm going to ink that up with the matching ink with my cover. And I'm going to put a flower on and use another layer. This one is quite cool. It's got a texture like little dots. And I'm going to offset that one so it makes a complete flower with a darker shade of the lipstick. And then I'm going to add crushed curry for the little dots in the center, and it's a little tiny stamp. And you can line it up because it's polymer. There we go. So it says, thank you for a wonderful season inside the card. and that's the outside of the card. And this one's got the plush leaves. This one has gold on the pine cones and the little berries. And I made this one where I colored the leaves and colored the berries and made a horizontal card. And because I goofed a little bit with my embossing just on the edge, I cut my card down a little bit and then mounted it on gold, which makes it very elegant. And in this one it says Merry Christmas, which is another one of the stamps in the set, and stamped one of the flowers. And I think I need to add just a few little gems, and I have the beautiful gilded gems. They're beautiful gold, and I think that will add the crowning touch to my card. Usually I use 3 of the gilded gems, and I like to keep them on the plastic so I can see where I need to add them to the card. I think I'm going to add one here, and these have adhesive, so all you have to do is take them off. And let's see, maybe a smaller one up here, and a tiny one here. So that's my card with the flocked leaves. This one has the pine cones and the berries, and this one has them all colored. Which one do you like better? I think they're all beautiful. Thank you for joining me today, and I will be making some more cards with this beautiful poinsettia petals because I can't resist, and I've got lots of ideas to share with you. Come back and join me again. Thank you.